And we're live. We're live. Coming to the room, the Dreamcatcher room. Welcome to Black Wealth Aspirations, Building Generational Wealth with me, the Budgetnista. Let me know, can you hear me? Ooh, always. Because, it wouldn't be me without a little tech issue. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, let me know. I'm excited. Oh, y'all are flooding in or whatever. Okay. So today we're kicking off the Black Wealth. Well, so first of all, let me zen because whenever I have tech issues, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it just works a nerve. So one, I'm gonna breathe in, breathe out, breathe in all the tech mercies, breathe out all the tech issues. We're gonna have a good time, okay? So that's one. Two, if you don't have a notebook, are you really a dream catcher? I have a notebook and I'm doing the teaching, right? Go get your notebook. Go call the kids and say, go get my notebook. Get your notebook out so you have a second to do so. And then two, you already know, I stay with the notes. So if you see me looking down, I used to be a school teacher, so I never show up without my lesson plan. I come prepared. All the silliness and everything else that I do, sis be typing out her notes, okay? Okay, all right, so today we're kicking off Black Wealth Aspirations, a 3-part live video series where we'll all be discussing how to build wealth in the Black community, okay? I am Tiffany, your host, your favorite financial educator, aka the Budgetnista around these parts. If you are watching live, awesome. Let me know. If you are part of the replay crew, type in replay. Let me know because I like to see who's watching later. Either way, I want you to literally share the wealth. That means tell, tag, share this link with your cousin, mama, brother, and them, because we're really going to be talking about something critically important. Okay. So tell, tag, share. So before we really get started, I want you to know that this video is provided for educational and informational purposes only. This is my disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? It is not intended to be, nor should it be constructed or construed as an investment, insurance, financial, tax, or legal advice. So please consult with your own advisor for such advice. I am not your mama. I'm not your cousin. Well, some of y'all may be your cousin. I'm not your attorney. You want to lean into those people. This is merely for educational and informational purposes only. Got it? I want y'all to say, got it. Whether it's replay crew or live crew. Okay, I see y'all the live crew, well, obviously, because we're live right now, but the replay crew, y'all coming in strong later. I know you will. Okay? All right. So let's talk about building generational wealth. I have some stats for you to share. Like I said, this is a great time for you to go get your notebook if you need it, because you will. So here's some things I want you to consider as we continue this talk. The Black community, or Black communities, have historically faced barriers to building wealth due to systematic discrimination, whether it's employment, housing, education, health, and the list of inequalities goes on and on and on. If you are Black, you know this. It's almost like y'all know that I had a house that I was, that this house paid off, and I wanted to pull money out. So I wanted to use that money for something else. And I had the house appraised, and it was severely underappraised. And unfortunately, sometimes for Black and brown people, the things that we own are valued less. And then in the workplace, we're paid less. And then we're giving less opportunity to advance forward. And so there are all of these things in place that make it very difficult to build wealth. And according to the Federal Reserve's 2019 survey of consumer finances, Black families have considerably less wealth than white families. The median net worth of a Black family is $24,100 compared to the median net worth of white family, $188,200. That's a huge gap. That's well over $100,000 difference, So the pandemic did not help these numbers. It made these numbers worse, and these challenges today even worse, which has really widened what they call the wealth gap. That is a gap between oftentimes different races, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, right? But we're specifically really leaning into the racial wealth gap. With that, no doubt, this is going to impact our children and future generations to come unless we actively make a choice. That's why you're here today. But at the same time, because it's not all doom and gloom, I don't do doom and gloom. We like to do facts and figures, and then we like to do, but what can we do though? Right? It's not all doom and gloom. At the same time, our community is resilient, but hello, first of all, we don't even look like we've been through. Look at this skin. Despite all of that, we just be looking fabulous, honey. We don't look like what we've been through. The study found that our community feels both energized and enthusiastic about future possibilities in life. That is one of my favorite things about being Black, if I'm being all the way honest, um, is that, like, no matter what happens, there is a sense of hopefulness, of grace, of space, of there is a better day coming, that of possibility. Do you feel that? You know, like no matter what happens, somehow we know that this is not the final say, that there is a way. That's a bar. This is not the final say, but there is a way. Okay. If you're feeling me, okay, just say okay, all right in the comments. Yes, that we never lose our hope. So, how do we narrow the widening wealth gap and both protect and empower generations in the future? The good thing is that we have the tools that we need to succeed. And so we're going to lean into some of those today. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. How do we build generational wealth? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, like, there is homework and then there's classwork. This is classwork. Are you right? All right. So here's some classwork, right? So before we get started with our conversation, I want to hear from you. And I want you to get an A++ in this classwork. Wherever you're watching, I want you, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, wherever, I want you, Facebook, I want you to tell me what your financial goals are for 2023 and what your plans are to achieve these goals. This is class work, meaning we're not passively sitting by. If you're watching, you can type, right? So what are your financial goals for 2023? What do you want to accomplish? While you're typing, I'm going to share some of mine. And how do you plan to achieve those goals? So one of my financial goals for 2023 is I want to be more strategic about, like, planning financially for travel. I love to travel, but I feel like I've been overspending for travel. Like, I'm not really good at using my travel points effectively. And so I'm like, certainly I want to save to travel effectively, but I really also want to make sure that I'm using the tools available to me to make sure that I lower the cost of travel. So that's one of my goals. And what am I planning to do? So there are certain websites like, a travel guy and like points guy, whatever, where I'm really kind of leaning in to be like, how can I make the most when I do travel? Like, do I use a specific airline? Is there a specific, point system I should be leaning into? And so that's what I'm doing. So I'd love to know from you. Write it in the comments, right? Also, just throughout this conversation today, if you have a question about something that we're talking about, drop it in the chat. 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 So although I might not see it right away, we're going to take some questions later and we're going to scroll through. So drop it in the chat. So again, what are your financial goals for 2023 and what plans do you have to achieve those goals? Because you can't just say, I want to have this, and you're not really like, what are you going to do to accomplish those things? Okay. The reason why I want you to share is because someone might need to see what your goals are to kind of get them excited about theirs. And you might have a way that you have planned to accomplish it that might ignite something in someone else. Now, here's the secret. You want to know why I'm so smart about budgeting and savings and all things Budgetnista? Because I teach. Did you hear what I said? I teach. And there is an old wise proverb that says, when you teach, you learn twice. When you teach, you learn twice. When you show someone something, not only do you get it for yourself, you re-get it when you share it with someone else. So when you teach, you get to learn the thing twice. So when I tell you to drop some stuff in the chat today, what I'm really doing, Teacher Tiffany, is making sure you get the lesson, not uno, but dos. You didn't know I spoke a little Espanol, un poquito. My Spanish teacher would be horrified at my accent, okay? And so if you're tuning in, if you're part of the replay crew, we don't disrespect replay crew. We love y'all. So don't forget, because I'm going to be going through the comments and things later. If you're part of the replay crew, I honor that. Still do the same thing. What are your financial goals, replay crew? Just put replay next to it. How do you plan on achieving it? Because what I've learned is that replay crew, people will watch and read later. And so you will also inspire them as well. Okay. So actually, now I have a super exciting guest to announce because you guys know I love y'all dream catchers. And so I wanted to not just have this conversation by myself. I wanted you to hear through the lens of someone that comes from the very community that you are currently a part of. And I have a special guest. Her name is Alex Davis. Alex is fabulous, honey. First of all, let's just put that out there. She is a CPA and a CFP. She is the creator and founder of AGA Tax and Consulting Services, LLC. She is a highly sought after international financial empowerment coach and a CPA who didn't always have the power of finances working in her favor. Alex knows the pain and the shame of a messy financial house, don't we all? As a single mom of two brilliant daughters, love that, she pulled herself out of a deep hole of $50,000 in debt to a mountainous $300,000 net worth. Alex, you better go off. This strategic and powerful feat boosted her confidence, as it ought to, and allowed her to leave behind a successful yet soul-sucking career that was no longer serving her. Alex, get on over here, Alex. And she's fabulous. Did I mention that? Hey, Alex. Can you hear us? Alex, you might be muted. Alex, can you hear me? Can
and
you
all
hear
the dream
me?
catchers.
Hey, Alex, can you hear me? Alex. See, remember I told you before we were having just a little technical. We were having some technical difficulties, and this is what it was. We're going to get it together, though.
We are.
If not, well, here's what we can do. So I am going to chat about some generational wealth things. Alex, can you hear me? Okay. So while we wait for Alex, we're going to work on Alex behind the scenes. That's okay, because the show, what must go on? So something I was going to ask Alex, how about you and I have a conversation while we wait for Alex to pop back up? You in the comments, right? So you will be my special guest. Here's some things I really wanted to know from Alex. So I want to know from you, because this is a question I was going to ask Alex, is what are some misconceptions or myths you heard about financing and building wealth? So when you think about making money and building wealth, what are those misconceptions? Like, what are those like things that like you heard and you feel like as you've gotten older, you're like, who said that? Clearly that's not true. I'm gonna start first. And you guys, I want to read some of your comments out loud, right? So what are some misconceptions you had about building wealth? One of my first misconceptions is that in order to build wealth, I had to focus solely on being debt free. That debt freedom was gonna be the holy grail for wealth. That's not true. Because my nephew, he doesn't have a car note. He doesn't have student loan debt. He doesn't have mortgage. And Roman is broke. You want to know why Roman's broke? Because Roman is 7. Sorry, Roman. I know I put your business out there. Because if debt freedom equals wealth, then why is Roman not wealthy? All your kids is broke, right? And so, like, that was a misconception that if I could be completely debt free, then that meant that somehow I was like that was like the key to wealth. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't work on that, but I am saying that it is only one of the components to growing wealth. And let me see some of the things. Okay. Oh, okay. Sylvia said being debt free before you invest. That was a misconception. Okay. What else? That someone else said, let me see. It's true only that real estate and investing will build wealth. That's somebody that they feel like that was a misconception. Okay, that you have to make money. You have to have money to make more money. Okay, all right. Okay, Lee says that the IRS will have your back if you're wealthy. I know someone said, "Oh, Roman." I know I just be throwing Roman under the bus, honey. Let's see. What else? I'm just looking. What are some misconceptions? Oh, that you can't build wealth with debt. Okay, there's a lot of debt ones just like me. Okay. Let's see what else. I'm still looking at some of your goals, which is great. You need money to make money. Focus only on increasing your credit score. Okay. That investing is gambling. Okay. Look at this. A lot of debt stuff. So you got the same one as me. I'm just looking at some of yours. Replay crew answer as well. That agree that debt equals freedom. Okay. So do any of these resonate with you? like the ones that people are sharing that, you can see the chats and you can read the chat, whether you're live or replay, that credit cards will only hurt you. Okay. That only certain fields can make you wealthy, that you have to be born into money. Okay. This is really great. Like, now, here's the thing, that wealth, of course, it's all relative. And let's just say wealth is having enough money to live the life you desire to live. Let's just call that wealth, right? That having enough money to live the life you desire to live with ease. We're gonna add to that definition. Let's just say that that's what wealth is. I have enough money to live the life that I want to live with ease. I don't gotta work myself to the bone, right? And so, in so doing, one of the things that we forget is to build the financial foundation, right? And so, like, what are some of the financial foundations? That's like your budget, savings, debt, credit, learning to earn. These are your first core 5 financial foundations. And although certainly you can make a ton of money, if you have not really worked on these financial foundations collectively, so not just debt, not just credit, but budgeting and savings and learn to earn, then building wealth, you might be able to do that, but sustaining it is going to be very difficult. So one of the myths I want to dispel is that you could just focus on one of these and be good. Truthfully, it's a collective, like all of these are like it's a collective activity. Like they have to all work together in order for you to not build. So remember I said learn to earn? That's one of the things that people say, if I earn a lot, I'll be wealthy. But not if you don't have a budget, sis, and you're not saving, sis, and that debt is eating you up, sis, and that credit is causing your life to be worth more, to cost more, sis, right? And so let's dispel that growing wealth can only happen with one of these categories. They have to work collectively together. Does that make sense? Do you have your notebook out? I told you to go ask the kids to go get your notebook, right? Okay. Say the 5 again. Alicia, I got you. Budget, saving, debt, credit, learning to earn. Somebody said she heard that budgets are silly. They're not silly. I'm silly, but not budgets. Budget, save, debt, credit, earning. Can someone type that in the comments? So that way, if anybody good, I see some of you already typing it for your fellow dream catchers. Thank you. Kim's typed it for us. Great. Awesome. Okay. So we've had a lot of discussion about generational wealth over the years, but what was the moment where that you realized you needed to plan to build for generational wealth, that it wasn't just going to magically happen? Like, so let me know in the comments, like, when was it that you just felt like, wow, this is not something that's just going to magically appear, that if I do not plan for the financial life that I want and for generational wealth for myself and my family and my children and my descendants, it's not going to happen. When was that kind of aha moment? I'm trying to think, like, when was that aha moment for me that like money wasn't just going to happen, that I had to be an active participant in the growth and maintenance of it? Oh, sorry, Taylor. Taylor said that when she lost her father. So, I lost my husband a little over a year ago. So I understand what loss can do. And so, Taylor, just sending you condolences. So when you lost your father, someone said last year before turning 30. Yeah, 30 will do that to you. I'm trying to think when I was young. I'm not gonna lie, I was a money nerd. First of all, we're gonna check in again. If you have not shared this video, no matter where you're watching it, with your family, friends, cousins, your social media, especially, reshare right now. This is your mid stop homework. Reshare, and so that way people can join in this conversation, because I think it's really powerful. Okay, so so when was that for me? I was really young. I want to say I was like in my mid 20s, because my dad, like I said, was a CFO, if you followed me for a while, and an accountant. And something in me realized that I had to actively be a participant in growing not only wealth for myself, but for the generations to come, for people who are going to come after me. And so I see some of y'all were 50, some of y'all were during the pandemic, when after you had your second child. Children will do that. Last year, when my 6-year-old said for birthdays, she wanted to travel instead of having birthday parties. Oh, Joy, you got a fancy 6-year-old. We like that, girl. We love a fancy 6-year-old. In your 40s, when you when you started having children. Okay, this is great. Keep them coming. So here's some of the things that I started to do when I was started to build for generational wealth. And it falls back on those fundamentals. First things first, I had to take stock of where am I currently? Like, how much am I making? How much am I spending? This is called a budget. I know we don't want to hear that, but it's true. Like, how much am I making? How much am I spending? What does that currently look like? I also had to realign my mindset. So if I'm really being honest, first step was to reset my mindset because I had made a lot of financial mistakes despite growing up in a household where money was taught. The financial mistakes that I made crippled me and made me feel like this is what I thought. Not Tiffany made a mistake, but Tiffany was a mistake. Have you done that self to yourself? Like, girl, sometimes we talk to ourselves crazy. Like, girl, what are you doing? You messed up again, and I finally had to say, you wouldn't let other people talk to you like that. Why do you talk to yourself like that? I told my best friend Linda at the time all the financial struggles I was going through. And she was like, that's it, girl. You act like you was just out here, you know, uh, uh, you know, being terrible, like is that it? You didn't rob any banks, like you made a mistake with your finances. Okay. And so my first step was I had to share with someone. So if you're looking for some notes of some of my first steps, I had to share my shame with someone who I trusted. That I don't have to be some financial guru, just someone who loves you as you are. And it's going to create a graceful space for you to be honest, right? So I had to share with someone. And then two, I had to, after sharing and releasing that secret shame, forgive myself and say, girl, you're not out here pushing puppies downstairs. That's not what's happening. You made mistakes with money because you did not know better. And so, I mean, that's it. And maybe you did know better. And so people make mistakes with money all the time. So share with somebody, set myself for a place of forgiveness. Then I had to take financial stock of where I was. That's really a budget. Where do I currently stand? What am I making every month? What am I spending every month? And then asking myself, do these numbers make sense? Am I making enough? Am I spending too much? And start to make these smaller adjustments. I started to really tweak my budget here and there. Do I really need that cable? Do I really need to spend this much money on groceries? I started to make these tweaks because I wanted to expand how much I had to save, because savings is really the key. It's with savings that you're going to be able to potentially grow your wealth. It's with savings that you're going to be able to create a safe landing space just in case you lose your job or anything like that, And so it's mindset, taking stock, creating that budget, making your tweaks so you can create a space for savings, and using things like paying down your debt and navigating your credit to make your life less expensive. Because the less expensive your life is, if you don't have as much debt, your credit score is better. Because when you have poor credit, things cost more money because interest is just higher for you. Financing costs more, then you can't save as much. And then last but not least, after I kind of got those under control, asking myself, was there a way to make a little more? I used to do kind of like side hustles and I started my business. It might be getting a raise at your current job, So these are some of the ways I starting to grow Black generational wealth starts with me growing wealth and figuring that out. I cannot do for others if I do not do for myself first. Do you understand? Like I was just talking to my mom today, and she has, and my dad especially, but especially moms, because moms, we just be sacrificing. So today was the first time, I'm 43 years old. It's the first time that I kind of heard her say she's enjoying the financial situation where she is. And I've been sending my mom money every month for the last 3 years. And I kept asking her, Mommy, what are you doing with the money? I know she was hoarding it. Why? I can't say her age because she will come here right now and spank me still to this day. I would still get a spanking if I told her age, but I had to ask her, like, because I knew she wasn't spending it. I was like, sis, it's Showtime Synergy. Name that show. Some of y'all too young. Y'all don't know who Synergy is? Name that show in the comments. Right? I was like, ma'am, why are you not spending the money I send you? Like, my father has done a really good job with his CFO background of managing their retirement and paying the bills. This money is for you. She could not get out of her self-sacrificing after raising 5 girls. For those of you who have children, you know what it is to sacrifice. This is the first time I heard her say she bought something nice for herself. And she said that. She said, I feel at peace because I'm finally doing things nice for myself, that I'm buying things for myself. That's generational wealth. I could not do that for Sylvia Aliche if I did not control that for myself first. If I had not figured out how to master budgeting, master savings, get my credit together, pay down my debt. If I did not do that for myself, I could not do that for my mom. I could not do that for my nieces and nephew. I have money set aside for their college fund. I could not do that for my bonus daughter, Alyssa. Her college fund is fully funded. She's 16 years old. She goes off to college in like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, so first things first, put your mask on first. So that's critically important. So I want to know in the comments, like, what steps are you taking, to start to build generational wealth? Remember, it starts here first. So what does that look like for you? What steps are you taking? And honestly, be candid. What's working for you and what's not working for you? So if you're like, hey, Tiffany, I created a budget, but girl, the budget be looking at me, I be looking at the budget, and neither one of us is doing anything. So what steps are you taking? What's working? I want to know, and what's not working. I always like to know because it helps to inform the way I teach. So I can help if maybe something is not working and it ought not to work, and something is working and it should be working. So what are you doing there? Okay. So what steps are you taking? What's working and what isn't working? Well, I want to hear from you. Like, I want to know what challenges you're experiencing when it comes to building generational wealth. What resources do you need? So, like I said, one of the things that I do, and I literally go over and look at your comments, whether it's replay crew, we need you to, live crew, we need you to, is because I will look through the comments and I will say, these are the resources my dream catcher said that they need in order to succeed in growing generational wealth or whatever goal we're working toward. And I will start to craft and create resources or align with resources or share resources with you. And so don't be shy. This is the time to ask. Y'all be in my DMs asking all the other things. Ask this. What steps are you taking? What's working? What's not working? And what resources? I wish, if you could have a magic wand, I wish I had this resource to help me. Let me know in the comments, okay? Be honest, ask for whatever it is you think you're needing, and I have a bonus question for you. Why is building generational wealth for the Black community so important? Like, why do you think that building generational wealth if you even think it at all, you might be like, it's not important. Why is building generational wealth so important? Okay. Whew. Okay. All right. So yeah, I just honestly, I think, and I'm going to share kind of like why I think generational wealth is so important for the Black community, is because wealth is a tool that can be used to enhance life. Right? It's not the only tool, but it's certainly a tool, because with wealth, you can have access to better healthcare. With wealth, you can have access to better education. With wealth, you can have access to experiences. Like Joya said, her 6-year-old said, Mama, I don't want no toys. I want to see the world. I want experiences. That's huge. The fact that she's 6, Joya lets me know you raising a bougie baby, girl. You raising a bougie baby, and I love it. Wealth allows ease. In some areas, not all areas, but with wealth, I'll give you an example. When I was working so much, I'm not working nearly as hard as I used to work. I was able to use the money that I'd made to hire an amazing housekeeper. So I was able to not only hire a woman-owned business to clean my home, and we became really cool, me and Juliana. Hey, Juliana, girl, she's Brazilian. But I also didn't have to worry about my house. I was able to hire a chef, Nisha, another sister, a Black woman. She is Guyanese. And so she cooks food for my parents every week. Every Sunday, Nisha texts me and says, I dropped off, and she drops it off. And she does like a health check wellness, because my dad is in his 80s. He don't care about me telling his age. My mother is significantly younger. Let her tell it. But every week she drops off food for them. My mom, although she likes to cook, she doesn't want to have to cook. That's what wealth does. And for the Black community, for me, building that generational wealth means that I get to look forward and help my parents, but I also get to look backward and help my nieces, Mimi, Amelia, and Lily, and Roman, my nephew, to make sure that when they go to school, they don't have to worry about student loans. To make sure that if they want to start a business, Auntie has a stockpile set aside for them. Or if they want to purchase a home, I want to start them off at a plus, not a negative, once they finish school, And so that's why, to me, building generational wealth is important for the Black community. But I'd love to hear from you, replay and live crew in the comments. Why is building generational wealth for the Black community important to you? I'm just really curious. Okay. So hopefully here's some key takeaways that you took away from today's convo. One, if you have not, like I said, I don't care if it's the replay crew. I don't care if it's near the end. People can watch again. Tag your mama, cousin, and them. Share this link. Text it out. Share that we had this dope, amazing conversation. The good thing is we're going to be doing this this is just one of three. So we'll be doing this the next couple of weeks. You can join in. Y'all just know I love teaching and I love pouring in and I love creating opportunities for us to have access to things that we normally would not have access to. You know, that one of the key components to growing wealth is access, knowledge, access, and community. Those are the three components that I believe are transformative specifically for the Black community. Knowledge, when you know better, you do better. Access, having access to tools, resources, people, different ideas, that is critical. That's why I wanted you to share what resources you want so I can create access to those resources. And community, because the chat is lit. Isn't the chat lit? You know, and so if you look at the chat, you know, it's important for you to understand that you are not alone in this, that there are literally millions of dream catchers worldwide, 2 million plus dream catchers, but literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of y'all watching live, and I'm sure even hundreds more watching later. That it is important that when you we work in community, especially the Black community, that we go so much further. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And we are here to go far. That's what generational wealth is. And so if I had to summarize today, our chat today is that generational wealth for the Black community is a important component for creating the type of life that we are deserving to live. We deserve to live well now. We deserve to look forward and take care of our parents if we so desire. We deserve to look currently and take care of ourselves. And we deserve to look backwards and take care of those coming after us, you know? And that in order to do so, we start with a financial foundation that's built in budgeting, saving, debt, credit, and earning, management of those 5 core things, you know, and building wealth with yourself first. So that way, from the excess and the overflow, you're able to help and navigate not just your family, because now I'm in a position, I just came back from Kenya a few weeks ago, where there was a safe house for young teen moms. And I have enough wealth now to be able to support them and pay for all their school fees. It was like 25 or 30 of young girls there to pay for their school fees for the year. Boom, I wrote a check. That's it, it's done. So you see what happens with the overflow? Because I am a Black woman, I went to Kenya and saw these beautiful little Black girls. And I said, I can pour from my overflow of Black wealth into them. That's why we need generational wealth, because it's not just you, it's not just your mama, it's not just your kids and your nieces and nephews, it is others around you. Because I have so much more excess because of the generational wealth that I've created, that now it can bubble into the outside community. And so I just hope that you found inspiration today, but also some things to start to do. If you haven't already, tell us what your financial goals are, you know, what you're working on to build generational wealth. Oh, you know what? Oh, I'm supposed to take some real quick questions. My bad. Was I supposed to take the questions? You know, I'm a talker child. Did we want to take some really quick questions? If there's some, let me see. I'm like the worst. Okay. So, okay. So are there some questions I want to take? Any questions let's see. All right, so here's some really great goals. As a teenager, my mom encouraged me to learn. I'm just looking. Honestly, I don't know where to start. I created a budget in Excel spreadsheet, but that's about it. Okay. Creating a budget, but then emergencies happen. Look forward to helping your mom. Okay, now that you shared your goals, like what are some other goals? Keep us in the loop. Tell us what steps you're going to take. If you're tuning in later, I still want to know. I think. Yeah, I just want for you to continue to chase your goals one foot in front of the other. You know, my dad, who is very Nigerian, would say, many drops of water does a mighty river make. You know, do you know what that means? Many drops of water does a mighty river make. And so if you think about like a river, this huge body of water that seems like impossibly ginormous, and yet it is just a series of drops of water. And so it takes each little drop over time, consecutively, consistently. It grows until it creates this mighty, massive river. And so as you are working toward your goals, it's just one foot in front of the other. And can I tell you a secret about your goals? And then we're going to jump off. Can I tell you a secret about goals? is that what you are seeking is also seeking you. So you might think you have to go from A to Z. That's not how goals work. Goals say, girl, if you get to C, I'll get to Q. Wait, if you get to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I'll get to P. And slowly but surely, as you walk towards your goals walk towards you. You stop working, goals stop working. You sit down, goals sit down. You get up, goals get up. That you don't have to go all the way from A to Z, that as you walk towards your goals, they walk towards you. So I hope you stay encouraged. Um, I hope you start putting in the work and stay connected. I will see you in our next video. All right, y'all. I hope this was helpful. Y'all know I love y'all. All right. Bye.